Hi, everybody. Okay, it is day 1366. No sign of life of Richard. And we have so much breaking news. We learned so much, received so much evidence today. One of the big breaking news is that the CID has confirmed that they, seems like it must have, of course, we've confirmed it with many others, that they found Richard's remains very clearly. They adamantly said there is no missing soldier from Fort Bliss. This is breaking news. Why is CID Fort Bliss saying that there is no missing soldier from Fort Bliss unless they have found Richard's remains and are not giving us our son's remains? They're not giving our son's remains to us. Why not? What is going on with the remains? Where did the remains go? Well, they went to the chief medical examiner. That's where they went. And so when we received the autopsy report leaks, I shouldn't say leaks, I should say intelligence, the tips that were given to us, and we turned them in, and there was Ortiz's name, Raskin Ortiz. And we were like, well, who is this guy? And they tried to, um, the live stream I did, the feedback that we did from the saboteurs was, um, not too good, not too good. They wanted to manipulate the information there. And then, you just go to the medical examiners, the El Paso Medical Examiner's site, and you see that the chief medical examiner is Mario A. Raskin Ortiz. And you're like, what? What? And of course, we have not gotten an official denial, an explanation, or anything like this. And of course, we have Nadal Baim saying that the FBI found Richard's remains, partial remains in Mexico, partial remains in the training area. Was other reports a good meal for the coyotes? Other reports, and this is from DES. This is from Department of State. This is from DHS. This is from which is Homeland Security, Department of State, Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Lieutenant General was looking for Richard's remains at Christmas at 2020 there at the training area, and working with the Department of State looking for Richard's remains in Mexico. We have that confirmed through PAO Ali Payne, also from Sean Bernabe, the Lieutenant General, that needs to be stripped from his uniform, stripped from the star, every privilege, everything. I think right now he needs to be tried. He absolutely needs to be tried. And of course, a Major General James Eisenhower needs to be right with him, right? We're talking about our volunteer sons and daughters under the obligation of the commanding generals to care for our soldiers, our service members. And now with all of this saber rattling, all of this wanting to go to war, always paying for some kind of war somewhere, right? To me, it's just so suspect, everything. And you don't really want to hear my words at this minute for this this war machine that is up to no good, is absolutely up to no good, right? And we know it. We all know it. The only ones that like it are the ones that get the contracts, right? Are the ones that, the chicken hawks. The chicken hawks that they don't mind sending our volunteer service members into harm's way as long as they get the contract. It's, or, or the influence of whatever these contracts buy and everything like this. Um, it's just, and they're buying these weapons, right? And the Patriot missile just got blown to smithereens by the Iskander missile, that is the Russian missile, because we're so archaic, because you don't even want to hear my point of view on this, because it is just, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And the thing is, we're making such huge strides, and making these huge strides to get our son's remains, to get all of this evidence, what comes in. We're so grateful for it, and moving it forward. But it's so frustrating to read through all of this evidence, to see then Judge Veronica Escobar and her H-1B, what is it, J-1 waiver, the visa and the waiver for Raskin Ortiz, a foreigner, right? A medical examiner put in there that she has conflicts of interest Bernal, with Bernal. And I think it even there, and there's others that we still have to confirm, because all the information is coming to us now. And so keep your boots on, keep the full armor of God on you at all times. You're going to have to sleep in it right now, because we're moving forward. But moving forward, which is a blessing, can be frustrating, because the amount of corruption that is being exposed creates the shock and awe, and the reaction, the mental reaction, the physical reaction to this kind of corruption and what they've done to us, the ramifications of this corruption. And, the interesting part of this whole thing is that this corruption, concerning so many things, Bill Hicks, right? Bill Hicks, which, brace yourself for that, because this is a district attorney that is a usurper. This Bill Hicks has usurped that whole. Right now, El Paso legitimately has no DA office. No DA, no DA office. It is all illegal. And we have all the evidence over and over again. That's why I'm saying it to you with such surety now. And going through the evidence, it is I'm making sure I'm on, to see that kind of corruption, that takes over, that really destroys the DA office. Right now, there is no DA office, legitimate DA office in El Paso. Wow, you could be saving a lot of money. I think that this is a call for restitution, because all of this fraud, they need to pay restitution. They need to give back, right? Like the H-1B and J-1, H-1B visa and the J-1 waiver, that, you have to serve the poor, you have to do something for the poor. Without them, you're going to get $428,000 a year, around that about. But you have to serve the poor. But what you're going to do is you're going to do your job for the poor. That's what you're going to do. That's what Veronica Escobar puts down in Mario Raskin's excuse for, or how how he's going to serve the poor. He's going to perform autopsies. Oh, wow, really? Wow. Isn't that your job to perform taxpayer funded autopsies? It's just so frustrating because, um, y- all this, because to me, that is a real possibility. And I'm not a lawyer. I need to ask a lawyer. Because reading through that, what she wrote, it's like she filed a false federal form. She fudged. And for a judge that knows that you have to be an American citizen when you are a judge, and that the medical examiner is absolutely part of the judicial branch of the government, and to argue that medical examiners don't have to be American citizens when they have so much power on the manner and cause of death, which today, I clarified what that means. The manner, the difference between the manner of death and the cause of death. And the manner and the reason why, and I'll tell you the reason why, the area that we're going into to back up. Because see, when you want to go forward legally, right? Because you don't want to go forward with violence, you want to go forward legally and use the system so that there is no violence, right? You have to back that up with cases, with past history. And, I grew up in Temple, Texas. That is just just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Waco, Texas. I grew up there. I was there when the Branch Davidians were raided and burnt and murdered in Waco. And by our own agencies, right? Which, once you start looking into that case, and I know it happened, I think 1993, absolutely, when you start looking into that case, because it popped up again. It popped up now in our son's case, in Richard's case. Can you believe that? To help move Richard's case forward in order to get his remains, we have to focus on the medical examiner. That is illegal. That we believe Veronica Escobar, as the then county judge, falsified the filings, the federal filing forms of the visa and waiver to get Mario Raskin in this position, right? Which is illegal. And so every case, every deceased body, every autopsy that he has done, every case that he's been a witness into, all of that is all botched. It's all botched. But we want to know, because our reports have it, that he's the one that handled our son's remains, both in the United States and maybe it's a relative, but at Semifo there in Chihuahua, Mexico, which in Juarez, Chihuahua is the state, in Juarez, Mexico. And what are they doing? Being so sloppy with these medical examiners. What are they doing with these remains? What are they doing? When you go through 4 years of this, You're like, they want to capitalize on everything. Are they capitalizing on the remains of our loved ones? We know that the funeral business is huge. This is not a crazy thing. Are they capitalizing not just on funerals now, but on the autopsies or on the remains or on both? And why am I bringing up Waco now? Why am I bringing the Branch Davidians up now? Because that is a case that has a botched foreign medical examiner that was using the state facilities as a business that the state was contracting out to, because of this legal problems. This was just like a legal shuffle or whatever that they did, and he was getting upwards over $800,000 a year to do cause of death, not manner of death. And there's all this case history there that we're still going through, and that's why we're like a little frustrated, because my goodness, we are so lied to about everything. And there is no honor amongst the thieves. There is no honor at all. Not even with the remains of our loved ones. Not even with the remains of human beings is there any honor. There were so many children. I know, I lived there. I lived there in Temple, Texas. It was right in our backyard, so to speak. Waco, the whole Branch Davidian, the children, the fire, the people running out in the back on fire and being shot. Don't do a manner of death, because you might figure out that that's FBI bullets in that person that was burning. It's to bring that up again in my life in relation to Richard's case is especially when it comes to foreign medical examiners, and in Richard's case, a foreign chief medical examiner. And you have to understand where our family comes from. My mother came to the United States as a foreigner also, a foreigner that was a dependent. My mother is German. I was born at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico, Donna Ana County. That's where I was born. All my grandparents spoke German. My dad was born in Oregon, but to immigrants, foreigners that came to this country because we had the U.S. Constitution. Because the United States had the U.S. Constitution. My grandfather, my dad's father, came to this country before World War II broke out because he could not get a job in Germany because he did not want to belong to the party. If you did not belong to the party, the Dritte Reich, you couldn't get a job. He came here. World War II broke out. He was interned in a camp for 3 years because he was a foreigner. Never, ever complained about it. Because he was in the United States, under the U.S. Constitution, knowing full well that he would be able to work and prosper, have a family. And we have the likes of Veronica Escobar ruining it for all foreigners by disobeying, violating our U.S. Constitution, our safety net, our gold piece in this country. And Joanne Bernal, violating our gold piece, our U.S. Constitution that guarantees our rights, our freedoms. They are hurting foreigners coming over here because they are outright violating the Texas Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, stomping all over it. The very reason why people want to come to this country. And our military leadership is doing the same. And they are not defending the Constitution of the United States, which their oath says they must do. And when you read through all the evidence over and over again, what we are reading through, that is being provided to us right now, because hold on. You have the violation with the DA. You have the violation with the county judge, the violation with the medical examiner, the violation with the county attorney, which is the county prosecutor, whatever you want to call her, because she can prosecute. You have the violation with the FBI. You have the violation with the CID, with the military leadership. And what are they violating? Our gold piece. Our treasure. For those that live here, citizens, and also foreigners that come here legally, that want to make a new life and become citizens, and so that their families can grow and prosper in freedom. And yet they are enslaving us because they are violating the very laws that give us our rights. They are the usurpers. Veronica Escobar is a usurper, a criminal usurper. Joanne Bernal is a usurper, a criminal usurper. Because they say they're taking an oath and they don't. And we have many judges that are doing the same thing. And you see what's happening in New York. And maybe I'm wrong legally in fine print, you might come back and say, oh, you don't know, you're not. Look, they are coming in and they say that they're working through the system. They get there, they're supposed to take an oath. They do take an oath. They sign an oath. They sign an anti-bribery. But now you have clearly the evidence that we're getting that the whole Bill Hicks thing is surrounded by bribery. That hold on to your, no, don't hold on to your seat. Put your boots on, put the full armor of God on, hold on to the sword of truth, and be ready, because Governor Abbott is up to no good. Governor Abbott is up to no good. And I say this being raised in Texas. being raised in Texas. And I say this as not a Democrat and not, well, I would say right now I register as a Republican. But but I'm not true to a party, just like my grandfather was not true to a party. I'm true to God. I'm true to God's law. True to God's law word. And our U.S. Constitution is founded on God's law word. You know, if there is no law, then we're just ruled by tyrants. We have no rights at all. We have no right to a speedy trial. What happened to that with the Walmart case? No, this is the problem. The Department of Justice has been usurped. And absolutely, legally, Bill Hicks is a usurper. And to me, absolutely, Veronica Escobar is a total criminal. And more in this Richards case, because let me tell you, we have firsthand experience of her saboteur, a saboteur. And the same thing with Bob Moore, the same thing with UTEP, with Heather Wilson. And you know, that article wanting Heather Wilson out, you have to glean. And the point is she has no honor. She has no respect. And let me tell you, I totally agree with that. And she needs to resign ASAP and pay restitution, because she's not even qualified to hold that position as the president of UTEP. And I can tell you right now, she's up to no good as the president of UTEP. And, so all these facets of Richard's case, and we want Richard's remains, who handled Richard's remains, and why is this foreigner given a judicial office? And, my mom is amazing, but not until she got her American citizenship, where she had to learn and she was so amazing, because she had to learn English, right? You know how she learned English? She ironed for soldiers and watched Guiding Light, General Hospital, whatever, while she was ironing, making some money, sewing on patches. That's how. And then at night, she would learn the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and on, the whole history of the United States, so she could pass her citizenship test. Mario Raskin Ortiz, since the last time I looked, just made excuses and did not do that. And yet he was given a judicial office where he has to know. He can call a jury, y'all. He can do subpoenas and warrants. I mean, and then Veronica Escobar, who's supposed to defend our Constitution, defend the Texas Constitution, with Joanne Bernal, is arguing like little babies for Mario Raskin, like, oh, it doesn't have to be blah, 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 whatever. with no sense of any kind of a professionalism, saying, sorry, Mario, come back and apply when you are a citizen. Sorry, Mario, we're going to have to give this job to someone else who holds an American citizenship. But it's not going to hurt you too much because it looks like you're double dipping over there in the Semifo and Juarez. You'll be all right. Sorry that you can't make your $420,000+ a year right now. Come back when you've spent the time to get your American citizenship. It's not too hard anymore. Why don't you, while you're doing it, go and help the poor, as your visa truly says that you need to do? But no, that's not what Veronica Escobar did. She has conflicts of interest. That's not what Joanne Bernal did. She has conflicts of interest. And isn't it interesting that Bill Hicks has his conflicts of interest with Purchase Funeral Homes? Out of where? Juarez, Mexico, the home of Mario Raskin Ortiz, who, Purchase Funeral Homes, was given the right to work in El Paso. I'd like to know how that all happened. Like, we don't have people that will do funeral homes in El Paso and in the United States. We have to outsource everything. And where then are Richard's remains, who is a whistleblower reporting on human trafficking, weapon smuggling out of what? Fort Bliss. To where? Chihuahua, Mexico. And then partial remains found there, partial remains found here. And then there's so much corruption that no one can defend the rights of Richard Halliday and get justice for Richard Halliday because they've trampled all over our law. They've trampled all over our justice system. How hard is it? How hard is it to give us our son's remains and hold the people that did this to him accountable? But Bill Hicks we don't have a district attorney because he's a usurper. Jaime Esparza had to recuse himself from the Walmart case. Why? Because of Mario Raskin Ortiz handling the remains of all the victims of the Walmart case. That botched the entire case. That's why that case, there's no speedy trial. They can't bring it. And you know what is so frustrating is that they were told and warned. It's all documented. And it wasn't me. It wasn't Team Find Richard Halliday. It was others, and it's all coming out. Other watchdogs, other judicial watchdogs, other concerned citizens that see the corruption and are giving them notice. And how did this all come to be? Because we, this last weekend, filed an amicus notice with, 2 days later, a evidentiary supplement to that notice. You can call it an amicus brief. We called it an amicus notice because there was no brief attached. But we wanted the court to know what we knew. And because that was sent out, we have confirmation now that, well, we received contacts speaking with people that have been dealing with this for years and providing evidence to us, not only on Bill Hicks, but also on Mario Raskin Ortiz, but also the Secretary of State, that she committed multiple felonies, and also Governor Abbott. Hold on. Because it's not Team Fox. We've been shadow banned. We've been, just ignore them. Oh, what did Bill Hicks do? Oh, I'm just going to ban you from sending me an email. He can do that because he's not really a DA. Who cares about sending him anything now? Because he's a usurper. He needs to be sent to prison. He needs to lose his law license. And we need to know what the heck was going on with that whole Purchase Funeral Homes thing with Mario Raskin Ortiz. And where is Richard's remains? And why was the captain crying? Why was the command sergeant major shaking in his boots? Why were they panicking? Why were they lying? Why were they manipulating files? Why were they obstructing justice? Why were they tampering with witnesses? Why were they retaliating against witnesses, whistleblowers in our case? Why are they blocking a key whistleblower in this case from even getting on Fort Bliss? Why? What did they do to Richard's remains? We know what they did to him, but we want our son's remains. And how inhumane for our military to participate in the capitalization of human remains and human remain parts. How inhumane, if that's the case. Is that why they support all the lawlessness? We had a soldier, right? A soldier that was a police, rape a 13-month-old. Now, what in the world? Yeah, because our sex cult colonel, remember the colonel with the sex cult, the doggy mask, and his vile social media stream, how he referred to his soldiers, how it is so disgusting. And we have the leadership under Major General Eisenhower and Sean Bernabe allowing for this kind of activity on Fort Bliss, with a 14-year-old girl living in the barracks, being pimped out, living there for months, being pimped out. And that little girl, the 14-year-old, was the stepdaughter of one of the DES's guards, right? One of Thomas Kaine's guards. Oh yeah, let my step grooming our young people. They groom their own. So if they're not faithful to their own, they're not faithful to the Constitution, to their country, they're not going to be faithful to our volunteer sons and daughters. We will never be able to win a conflict. We only are able to digitize money until we can't anymore. This charade, this whole matrix. Our sons liked that movie, The Matrix, and I was like, okay, let me see why they like this movie, and I'm gonna watch it. And let me tell you, it's a really good thing to have sons and daughters because you see things from this point of view, you see the things from this point of view, and I'll tell you right now, this is like they are hypnotizing to a false reality. Which brings me to this morning was pretty good. Team Farm Richard Halliday alerted to the video with Dr. Thomas Cowan, that interview, which you can glean so much out of that. That is also absolutely wonderful because just think about it. But also, you're like, what do you mean we can't? We're in this false reality. We're in this world where everybody has these false realities. Everybody's trying to make their own reality. Yeah. Um, it's a good day that Joanne Bernal resigned. The thing is she has to stay here. See, this is my concern. Is and I saw the name, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But this other attorney is going to come in, take her oath, take Joanne Bernal's place, and she is going to lose her law license. She's being set up. I hope she knows she's being set up. Please, if someone's watching this, please send that attorney a message. Send her a message and say, watch out. You're walking into a trap. You better just sit tight and do not take any oath for county attorney right now. Because it's a trap. Because what happened in the SB4 case is so corrupt. And I think Joanne Bernal is kind of like, oh, I'm heading out, and I'll set her up for it. How selfish, how evil can you get? This is another proof on how they are just totally inconsiderate about the lives of others. And from the very beginning, they were so dismissive, shaking in their boots, but so dismissive of the lives of others. And Heather Wilson, too, the president of UTEP. No common courtesy at all. None. That's not a civilized world. That's barbarism. That's heathenism. That's, no laws, no common courtesy, no boundaries at all. And then they celebrate it. No boundaries, no boundaries. Oh, we're just supposed to have chaos. Oh, yeah. Because your reality is that Darwin racist, chaotic mess. That's what your reality is. And it's a matrix because it's a fake. It's fake. But they want us to ascribe to that. That there are no boundaries. But there are. It's called order. And God is a God of order. And that's why we have courts for order. Let there be order. And you would think that Veronica Escobar, being a judge, would understand that. But she is delivering us chaos. Total chaos. And no concern, let me tell you, no concern for the lives of others. None. None. She's a mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? In my opinion. I think I got it right. So in the frustration after reading through all these documents and evidence and oh my gosh, so much. I can tell you that the media is starting to pick us up a bit. Got some, well, I don't want anyone to get retaliated against, right? Because phones will go and because they have absolutely tried to block this story. That's why we've worked so hard to keep this story out there and to investigate. We were told to investigate and to discover that Marlon Soto is dirty and Eddie Nieto Jr. is dirty and Veronica Escobar is dirty and Joanne Bernal is dirty and Sean Bernabe is dirty and on and on. And now this case is attached, well, has to use the legal precedents, the legal history of the Branch Davidian Waco crime because of the foreign medical examiner that was used at that time also. For cause of death, not manner of death. Let's not look at the bullets too closely. Right? Let's not document it too closely. Oops, that person is dead. Cause of death, gunshot wound. What's the manner of death? Oh, don't go into that. Don't go into that. It is very important, if you want justice, that you have a qualified, loyal, honorable medical examiner that's an American citizen. 100%. So, thank you, Anicia. Thank you so much. And I think I'll leave it at that for tonight. It is huge. CID doesn't have Fort Bliss CID. We don't have a missing soldier. Can you believe it? No, you have a missing soldier. No, we don't have a missing soldier. You have a missing soldier. No, we do not have a missing soldier. I want to inquire about the missing soldier. Sir, I told you, we don't have a missing soldier. What about Richard Halliday? Oh, what? Oh, hold on. Beep. You need to be transferred to a different, a higher up. Yeah. Can you believe that? I think I'll leave it at that tonight. Please share, especially to that attorney, and find her name. I know her name is out there. It was in that article of the resignation, and it's a Spanish article. I haven't seen an American article, but I haven't looked for it. The Spanish article was great, and it had her name in it, and she needs to be forewarned. She needs to be forewarned because I don't know if she's up to no good or not. I always say, look, a person is absolutely innocent until proven guilty. And this person, this attorney, could absolutely be put in such a terrible situation and never be able to practice law again, lose her law license. This is such a trap. This Joanne Bernal's resignation is such a trap. And she cannot leave. By law, she cannot leave until the next person has taken the oath of office. And I think it's very, very important. She's the one, Joanne Bernal is the one that took the SB4 case to the federal court. She needs to see it through. Because the next person should not have to take the fall for Joanne Bernal, because I absolutely know, reading through the Mario Raskin Ortiz appointment papers, that she's up to no good. She did not act for the best of El Pasoans. Absolutely not. 110%. And so I really, the next, and I know it's a female, we need to warn her. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow. God